Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are
Is it?
you?
I'm doing quite well. Ms. Whitney, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. This is going to sound so crazy and so stupid, but it's how stupid is it? It's internet drama. Stupid. Like that's how.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
okay. So,
There's no shortage of that.
oh, I
Okay.
know, I know. So, there's a couple of things I have that I want to make very much aware of. First and foremost is that this is not a huge deal or anything. There's a good chance you're not going to remember anything, and that's fine. I'm gonna,
Uh,
but for the sake of what I would consider kind of the integrity of quote unquote an investigation, I'm going to start with the least amount of material to see if you remember stuff. But I have like the FOIA request, like a police report that I can then send you on Facebook to like, if you're like, I think I remember that, to like jog your memory, including your narrative affidavit. But is that okay if I just kind of walk you through what I want to ask you about and just see if anything like garners a unique or independent memory?
yeah, before we get into that though, are you like you said you're working private sector. Is this like a thing you're working on
Oh, no,
or
no, no, no. So I part time I run a YouTube channel that
Uh-huh.
covers an individual. I'm not going to say the name yet because obviously it would compromise the conversation that we're having. That individual has questioned my integrity, saying that basically I'm a liar and things of that nature, and it actually had to do with Detective Chris Edwards, who I've also spoken with in reference to this. And and
Oh, I
and
love
and
Chris.
yeah, he was a really nice guy. He actually gave me like the best, like the absolute best, like quote I could ever have because of
He's
what he was what's being challenged or what was being said. He gave
yeah.
me just the best bit. I'll tell you a little bit
Chris
about
is
it.
He's good at that. He was one of my FTOs there in
Oh,
Renton. So
okay.
I've known Chris a long time and yeah, he's a great guy.
That's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So can I just kind of
Yeah.
preface?
Go,
Okay, so
go ahead. Yeah.
the case is 2021, January 15th. Okay. And because I can, and because I have it in front of me, and if you wouldn't mind, if you do, I completely understand. Do you remember your reporting officer ID?
10347.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much right now. Gosh. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. So January 15th, I don't know how the call came in. I think it was phone. Actually, I should be able to know that because I have the call sheet. Ha ha ha. Hold on. Let me, like I said, I want to give you the least amount, but I still want to give you some. So let's see. Um, Type was THRT2, verbal. So it looks like it was verbal. So verbal threat report. I don't know how. Oh, and it came in. Yeah, it looks like it was a call. Yes, it's a call. Okay. So
Okay.
this call would have been in reference to an individual saying that they had received very threatening emails, like emails to end their life. Is this ringing a bell so far at all?
Um, no, because I'm trying to think. So January 15th, 2021, I was back in
Correct.
patrol and I believe I was working probably the 3 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
shift. Um, South End sector.
Okay. So
Um, no, but the emails to threaten life doesn't narrow it down,
not a problem. Not a
sadly.
problem at all. I think the RP is gonna ring a bell. So I'm gonna read a little bit of your narrative affidavit. And
Okay.
I'm gonna cut out the name of the individual, and I'm just gonna kind of remind you about what he said instead. Okay, so on
Okay.
1/15/21 at approximately 17:31 hours, you were dispatched to threats report by phone. You made contact with the RP, who stated that he had received 3 emails from an unknown person that were threatening in nature. Subject explained that he is a crowd-funded paid gamer and he games at least 8 hours a day, live streaming. Is any of
Oh
this
yeah.
ringing a bell?
Yeah. Because
Uh,
I believe he was swatted later on
yes,
after that.
yes, he
Yes. Okay.
was. You'll remember.
Because
Great.
yeah, because his place was covered in cameras on the outside, and we were like, wow, that we see that and we think grow up. But yeah, I don't remember his name, but I remember because he was swatted sometime after that,
if
and there was some drama
so, I'm gonna
online.
give
Okay,
I'm gonna give six
okay,
names. I'm not going to tell you which one is
Okay.
correct. One of the 6 names is his first name, okay? If you
Okay.
recognize it immediately, let me know. If not, that's fine.
Oh,
Okay?
we'll see. I'm bad with names, but
Okay.
okay.
Kevin, Roger, Philip, Stephen, Walter, William.
Oh, I feel like it was either Kevin or Steven.
Well, it was Philip, actually. Philip
Oh,
Burnell.
okay. Well, there you go. Like I
Well,
said, I'm bad with names.
no problem.
I can remember events and faces, but not names too well.
I know that
Okay.
feeling very, very well.
Yeah, right?
Yep. So you've got the swatting thing right. That it was Proton Mail that did it.
That's
Out of
correct.
curiosity, when you said so, when I said he was a gamer and stuff like that, you mentioned you remembered the cameras. Was there any other reason why, when I said he was a gamer, that garnered a memory to you?
Well, yeah, so he didn't want us at his place.
Uh
He
huh.
didn't want cops showing up there. He insisted by phone. I do remember him sending the emails to me now so I
Mm-hmm.
could submit them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know he had contact. It must be with Chris because he talked about how much money he made playing 8 hours a day or whatever. And I was like, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the figure off the top of my head, but I remember thinking I was in the wrong line of business.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Um, yeah. Um, but he did not want us physically there.
How very
And I'm like,
strange.
well, yeah, he did not. And I know that because I remember the condos that he lived in, it was like Cabio or something like that. It was some weird name.
Mm-hmm.
And the condos getting to the back one that he was at, it's like a dead end. There's
Uh
like a
huh.
big fence and all this stuff. And I drove
Mm-hmm.
up to it because I'm like, well, if someone doesn't want me there and they're claiming to be a victim, I want to
Mm-hmm.
see why. So I did drive back there and I saw a bunch of cameras posted up on the outside of the condo that he listed as his address. Um, I don't
Okay.
I don't remember making contact with him, but yeah, it was because I remember I'm trying to remember now because I mean that was one of the first ones I took of these gamers. It seems like that was the time that they started swatting each other
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden like all over the country
Yeah,
and
it was a
getting
big
pissed.
problem.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember that was kind of one of well, that was the first time I had something with a gamer involved, but I remember it coincided with a big uptick of the swatting, gamers swatting other gamers, and um, I don't remember how long after this contact the swatting took place, but
Well, it's actually quite funny. I know you said that you thought it was after this. It was actually in 2015 that Phil got swatted, but
oh,
it's probably another swatting or something that you remember. But yeah,
it
you
probably is.
documented that he got swatted in 15 after he moved into Renton.
Oh,
But the
okay, yeah,
now that I've established that you have independent memory, that was the crux. That was one of the main things
okay,
that I wanted to check because, like I said, my integrity is coming into effect. I didn't want to give you too much and have people say, "Oh, I
yeah.
led you." You know what I mean?
Oh, got you. Yeah, I got you.
Cool, cool. So this is the big part. This is going to be more of a direct thing. During your
Hmm.
conversations, and I'm assuming you remember your conversations with him mostly.
A little, yeah.
Okay,
I
well
mean,
this would be pretty unique of a memory, I would think, but I'm not you. Whatever you remember, definitely don't tell me something you don't remember. I don't want that. So,
okay,
what he
okay.
is alleging, a couple of years after this event, he claims that he got his identity stolen and that his bank accounts were hacked. And so I'm going to paint this in, and so he got asked, and he didn't make a police report about that. And he got asked why wouldn't you make a police report about your bank account being hacked? Why would you make a police report about not make a police report about people accessing your bank accounts? Now, at the
Hmm.
time when he answered this question, I thought he was talking about Detective Chris Edwards. So I asked him, and he says he definitely didn't say this.
Mhm.
According to Phil, he says that he spoke with an officer, female, in reference
Mhm.
to this. I can only assume that's you, who
Yeah.
told him, when he was talking with you, mentioned to you that he was having trouble with PayPal chargebacks. Like people would give him money and then they would charge back the PayPal transaction, and that it was a problem from him because he definitely saw that as a crime, not a civil matter, which it totally is, but he saw that as a
Yeah.
crime, and he asked the female officer, "Is there anything that I can do about that?" His statement is, and if you remember, that's fine. If you don't remember, that's fine. And if you remember you definitely didn't say it, that's fine too. He says that the female officer, I'm assuming you, stated, "We don't have the manpower or the bandwidth or the unit to work those kind of cases. We only work, or in terms of cybercrime, we only work human trafficking. You should contact the FBI."
Oh gosh. Well, for starter, I don't remember the PayPal conversation.
I'm not surprised.
Um, I don't remember that conversation at all. Um, I
Well, let's
and I'm
talk.
trying to think if that would even be something I would say because I personally worked in the human trafficking online cases as both a UC and actually mostly as a UC.
You mean prior to this,
Um,
or prior to this, or after this?
like prior and during,
Oh
like
no!
whenever, yeah.
You
So
don't. You're making my
I
day.
worked, I know, I worked those cases. In fact, our set team, they're I can't remember what it stands for now, but basically our narc detectives who were separate from the investigation division, they worked all those cases. And so whenever they had an operation, a sex sting or a sex trafficking sting or whatever, I was actually one of the UCs either on the phone or typing. And way years prior to that, because I looked young enough, they used my pictures when we first started the online trafficking program in Renton with he's now I think Deputy Chief Rutledge. He
Okay.
was he was a detective in set and he's the one who all on his own got that started and we used my pictures and I was the UC and all that. But we did I mean investigations would have been assigned any type of fraud or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But so
S-
they did investigate because I worked in investigations. I mean, I was only property crime for a year before I moved on to sex crimes,
mm-hmm.
but and I didn't personally, I worked a few fraud cases, but the banks did the majority of the work there, not
Oh,
us.
okay. Well,
So,
let me see if I
yeah,
can't
that doesn't, yeah,
garner a giggle out of you. Okay, to kind of give you
yeah, yeah.
context of what this is all about. So Phil Burnell is very actually well known on YouTube, and you could even say notoriety slash celebrity status. And the reason
Hmm.
why he's so well known is he is well known for begging. He goes on YouTube by the moniker Darkside Phil, and his YouTube channel of They Call Me DSP. Um, he is also accused of having a gross gotcha game addiction to WWE champions, spending somewhere to the tune of $100,000 to $200,000 on a mobile game, and
Wow.
illegally, 100% illegally, somebody
Oh,
socially engineered his bank account information. Like they were able to get onto Bank of America's call center and hear transactions come through. And they documented all of this. And he had like something like $40,000 in iTunes transactions, which would be how he's paying for the game, and like $20,000 in PayPal transactions, which is another way to pay for the game. Well, these were affectionately known as the bank leaks. And when I was telling you about that interview where he said, I didn't make the police report. Well, that was them saying, well, dude, if your bank information got leaked, why didn't you make a police report? Well,
well, yeah, exactly.
his response was because you said they don't work cases like that. They only work human trafficking. And I'm sorry, just
No.
based on how you're talking to me, I refuse to believe that. I just needed
Yeah.
verification. So it
Yeah.
like I said, it is stupid. It's dumb. It's dumber than dumb. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like I said, I'm former law enforcement myself. I actually moved
Yeah.
on to. You probably know the company. Don't mention it if you do. But when you were in investigations, I'm assuming that you guys downloaded cell phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. You probably used one tool in particular.
Yes.
That's who picked me up. So
Gotcha. Oh, good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, that was that's Chris's specialty.
Well, let's go. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I got picked up by them, and so when this guy
Oh, great.
came out and basically said, I don't believe you. You're a liar. You're this. You're that. When talking about Chris Evans and stuff like that. Well, I live streamed myself, and I was mentioning this, and I had an individual reach out to me, and say, actually, I know former officer, because I know you're no longer with Renton, because I called Renton first, and they said, I actually know
Okay.
her. She was actually friends with my oldest sister. That's actually how I got your Facebook information. I'm not a crazy stalker or anything like that, I
Oh
promise.
no, I mean I kept my name the same, so I was like, I don't hide it or anything.
Okay. Okay. Well, like I said, I really
Huh.
appreciate your time.
Yeah, because
This has
there's
been so wonderful.
yeah, because if he had the PayPal thing to begin with, yeah, that's you're right. That's a civil thing. But had he called and said, "Yeah, my bank account information is hacked. I'm out all this money." We absolutely there's no maybe small town places, but they would even hand it off to county. You know that.
Of
Every
course.
that gets investigated fully. But
Exactly.
just
It's so simple.
yeah,
It's a search warrant
yeah,
to an ISP, or it's a search warrant to the bank
yeah,
account saying, Show me routing number, show me transaction time, show me IP address."
absolutely.
It's a walk in the park. And
Yeah,
no, we just don't investigate that because all we do is work human trafficking. My agency size was 50.
yeah.
How big is what's Renton's authorized strength? Do you know?
Oh gosh, when I was there, I think the authorized strength was 128 to
Yeah,
132, somewhere
yeah,
around
you guys
there.
are damn near 3 times the size of my department,
Yeah,
and I worked those crimes.
there were detectives in property crimes that specifically did work fraud and bank account stuff. So I don't remember the PayPal conversation, but I cannot imagine myself having worked the sex crime stuff saying that's the only online. I try to never tell people in any of the calls, like, nope, we only do this, we only do that. Like, sure, we'll look into it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken the damn report. And well, although that was the threats thing, but
Yeah,
still,
of
like,
course.
to know now.
Yeah,
But
absolutely,
yeah, and,
absolutely.
and and I'm sure he's accurate. It was a female officer because I was the only female on my squad. It's 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 possible that when he had the PayPal conversation, if he called back another time, sometimes the North sector officers will take the phone reports for the South or vice versa if we're busy,
No,
and then we're females working opposite. But I'm
he
sure it
had
was me.
documentation. He had documentation in
Okay.
his hands, and the only way he's getting
Okay.
documentation is if he one picked it up offline. It looked
Mhm.
like some semi-official, so maybe something was mailed to him or something like that. But yeah, he was
Oh, public
it.
disclosure stuff.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I've got the public disclosure stuff. He
Yeah.
probably has initial report stuff, or maybe like a business card or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely are the only female listed on
Okay.
here. It matches everything else. You absolutely crushed this. Thank you so much.
Well,
Um,
you're welcome. You're
like I
welcome.
said, it's really stupid, but it
Yeah.
meant a lot to me. Ms. Whitney. Oh, sorry. I think it's
Yeah.
Miss. Well, it's not. I don't want to give your new last name, but Ms. Whitney. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
You have just been an angel. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Did you have any questions for me or anything that I can answer for you or that you want to know about this whole
Um,
shenanigans?
oh gosh. No, I mean, I'm just glad I was able to remember.
Oh, me
I
too.
mean, for the most part. I mean, like I said, names, well, it's kind of a crapshoot, but certain incidents, things like that, I can remember places and what happened around them or in them. But um, yeah, that one was kind of unique in the sense that was my first time dealing with a gamer and making
Yeah,
being
unique.
able for that to be his sole income. And then, yeah, for some reason I thought the squatting thing came after, but we had
Oh, I wanted to
so many squatting things.
I wanted to get your reaction to something. So I actually
Yeah,
I was one of the there's basically, like I said, there's this guy, and then there's kind of, I don't say an army, but there's a lot of people who don't like him that make content about him. They're called
yeah.
detractors, right? And I was one of the, if not, I think one of the only people that has ever actually gotten to talk with him face to face, like across an interview, right?
Oh,
And
wow.
during that interview, he asked me what incentive would this, let's say you get in contact with this officer, what incentive would she have to tell you the truth? And so I was kind of indignant about that, being like, dude, do you have any, do you understand what Brady Giglio is? This is her career. It will end her if she was just to be flippant and be like, oh, I don't remember anything. Cause oh, it'll get her in trouble if, you actually said, hey, we don't do those crimes, like to like just skirt the issue. So then he goes on afterwards when I'm not talking, he goes on a little show of his own. And he basically said, of course, if this woman remembered and what she was doing was wrong, she would lie out of self-preservation. I would love to hear your opinion on that line of thinking.
Well, see, and that's somebody right there who's already got a compromised moral compass. I mean, he's up to bad stuff in himself, so he thinks everyone else has the same degraded moral compass. My commission for Washington State actually expired last weekend.
Hey,
So there's
there you go.
really no repercussions on me. I'm not even commissioned anymore. So it's like I there's I can't see myself I mean, why not be honest about it? That's what separates people. Always have this assumption when they're up to bad things that everyone else will do the same stuff. So they
Mm-hmm.
have a hard time believing that cops are like, the majority out there are honest, and I'll remember the best I can. I might get some things wrong or not remember certain bits and pieces, but I'll do the best.
Well, yeah, and
But
I knew that
I'm not
when,
going to sit there. Yeah,
yeah, when I
I'm not
said it
going to
was
sit there
Phil, you
and
didn't say, oh, yeah, 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 totally. That's who it was. It was Phil.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it was Phil. Dude, you didn't
yeah,
remember. Okay, that
no,
happens.
no. But I remember the incident. I don't remember the PayPal conversation, but it could have entirely happened. I was pretty thorough in documentation, so if it's in there, then it happened. That was my own thing
Well,
whenever I would testify.
you didn't document it, and based on
Oh,
your statement, no, the conversation about PayPal, and based on your statements of I worked in human trafficking, there's no way in hell I would tell somebody we only work human trafficking.
yeah.
That's just my icing on the cake. I'm going to I am going to defer to what I always refer to as LEO best practice or common practice, which is what I think you
Yeah.
gave me,
Yeah.
over this guy who's been caught in God knows how many lies in the past. I am
Yeah.
I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you. Um,
Well, I appreciate it.
well,
I mean, I don't have I can't see any repercussions for me either way. If he's like, "Oh, I recorded it and she said this." And I'm like,
he
"That's
didn't
kind of an
record it.
outlandish thing for me." Of course he didn't. But I'm like, would I was very cautious when I would talk to people to not give onlys or we don't do that. And there were times and calls I referred people to the FBI, but that
Hmm.
was if I was tired of talking to them and they were what we call a 220, kind of mental. And that was just for fun. Um,
You have no idea how much that like you just gave me icing on top of icing on top of icing on top of a cherry on the cake.
yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, you were a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I don't want to take any more of your Sunday. You gave me 23 minutes of your time. I
Yeah.
am indebted to you. Thank you so much.
You bet. And I hope everything works out all right with the whole thing and this Phil guy gets his comeuppance all on his own karma and yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thank you again. Please feel free reach out to me on Messenger, or whatever if you have any questions or have any other concerns. I'd be happy to talk with you again. You're an absolute angel. Thank you so much.
You bet. Take care.
You too. Bye bye now.
Bye.